Sacred Space.
So welcome back again to Sacred Space. My name is John Keeley. Today I am back in Abbeyfield, actually in a faith camp that's taking place here, organised by some local people, and that's taking place here in a school here in Abbeyfield, a faith camp run by Fr Patrick Cahill, actually, who I'm going to introduce in a few seconds, and as well as a few other people have organised something really to keep the young people occupied in terms of their faith and maybe attuned to their faith for the next 3 or 4 days here. So we're delighted to be here, but I'm taking this opportunity of meeting up with a few young people who are volunteering to help Fr Patrick this week from Youth2000. But in the meantime, Fr Patrick Cahill, you're welcome again. Thanks a lot for joining me.
Thanks for having me, John.
You've been on before. Thank you so much. You're a man of many hats, but I believe one of your more recent hats is Spiritual Director for Youth2000.
Yes, indeed.
How did you find time to get involved with it? Tell me, how did you get involved with it?
Well, I've been involved with Youth2000 for years. They have over 30 prayer groups all around the country that meet weekly, which is fantastic because so you have these young people who choose to come together of their own accord. Some very vibrant, courageous, almost visionary young people who decide to start up these prayer groups in different localities. And as I say, it's run by them, so they'll ask permission from the local parish priest, and they'll gather in a room or a sacristy or a school or who knows where for an hour of prayer and community fellowship, reflecting also on the following Sunday's gospel and that. So it's based on just the essentials of our faith, gathering with Our Lady around the Lord, listening to His word, and that where possible it happens in front of the Blessed Sacrament. So we give them the best of what the Catholic faith has to offer.
And what sort of age group will be involved?
16 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a crucial age.
And I believe the 3 pillars, as you call pillars, I think, in the Youth2000, devotion to Jesus and the Blessed Sacrament.
Exactly.
Very important.
Yes, and then Our Lady, of course.
Yeah.
So Our Lady keeps us on the straight and narrow, Our Lady who guides us to the Lord, and sacred Scripture. So it's, as I say, it's the essentials and the kind of the easy things of our faith which have enriched so many lives. So then from those 30 local prayer groups, Youth2000 also organises a couple of national festivals. So there's one at Christmas, which has taken place in Newbridge for the last number of years. Must be, I suppose, maybe 8 years or more. It's been hosted there by the Dominicans, and also then a summer festival. So both of these festivals are very well attended, thank God. So the Christmas festival gets about 700 or 800, and the summer festival about 1,200.
Wow!
Yeah, annually. So it's been going very, very well, thank God.
Maybe I didn't get that number right, because some people mightn't be aware that you just mentioned 1,200.
200, yeah.
Young people would attend a festival for a weekend.
From 16 to 35-year-olds. So I mean, I said these are the difficult age to get young people to attend something faith-based, but yeah, about 1,200 over the weekend.
Tell me, what did they do for the weekend? 1,200 of them.
Well, I have the greatest of admiration for those who run Youth2000 for Lana and Brian in the office at the moment. They're absolutely incredible because they start a festival knowing it will cost the bones of in or around 100 grand without a penny in the bank, and they don't charge the attendees.
Wow!
So I mean, they're going to run free buses, free food, free accommodation, and not charge the young people when they know it's going to cost that much. I mean, it's phenomenal reliance on Providence, and it works every single year.
And it's funded really by the people who attend in forms of donation, or maybe benefactors.
Yeah,
whatever.
there are donation boxes, but see, like a lot of the 16, 17, 18-year-olds don't have
They
jobs
wouldn't have
yet.
it.
So they may throw in €20. It costs 80 to 100 euro a head.
Wow,
So
that's a lot. Yeah,
it is. But they're great. Like the Lord does provide benefactors, friends.
but that's
sources.
a big really commitment for those people who even organise such an event with such a cost.
Yeah.
But obviously they see the benefit in that.
Oh, there's no way they do it otherwise, yeah. I mean, when you get all these young people together, and like we were saying earlier, you show them the best of what our faith has to offer. And then we get in speakers, nationally or internationally, different workshops on specific themes and topics. Then the fellowship, the friendship, the music, the atmosphere. You show them what the best of the Catholic faith. And you bring them together so that they can experience that as a community, as a family, as a church.
And that weekend would involve adoration, maybe reconciliation,
Exactly.
maybe music, maybe talks.
All of the above. yeah. So the reconciliation evening, there'll be a talk before that, and on the importance of confession and the healing of confession, because we have a tendency maybe to see certain aspects of our faith through a fairly negative lens, like go to Mass because you have to, because it's a sin if you don't. Go to confession because God will be angry if you don't. And it's a very negative way of seeing or living our faith, as opposed to go to Mass because it's life-giving. Because there you meet the Lord, there you experience the Lord, there you can actually, connect with the God who has created you, who wants you to be in His presence for all eternity in heaven. Go to Mass, that's why. Go to confession, not because God will be angry if you don't, but where else do we receive healing for our souls? I mean, we'll shower our bodies every day or every second day. Where do we go for the healing and the cleansing of our souls? I mean, where else can it happen if not in confession? So to experience that, and experience it as a positive thing, like the confession being one of the two sacraments of healing, to allow the Lord to heal us in confession. And when you see young people engage with the sacraments like that, the effects are incredible. No one is forced to do anything over the weekend. So if people decide they kind of want to skip Mass and wander around the grounds, they can, but they don't. They choose to come. Again, the priests are available for confessions. People can go if they want. They don't have to. But the vast majority do. And like from a priest who has heard confessions there, you hear the confessions of a lifetime. You hear young people who maybe have never confessed properly, or maybe have never been to confession since their confirmation, or maybe early 30-year-olds who have never confessed well. You know what I mean? So they discover, Jeannie, since my first confession, that's all I've been confessing, the very same things. I still confess being late for Mass, saying bad words and fighting with my sister, and I'm 30 years old. I've never actually confessed the fact that I struggle with maybe alcoholism at times, or pornography, or that I skip Mass. I've never said these things, and now in the grace of the weekend, I feel the Lord wants me to start again, start afresh. So I want to clear all this out and allow Him to heal. So it's just beautiful to see how it all works.
I'd suggest too maybe that they're very encouraged by their fellow Youth2000 colleagues there.
Yeah.
It's one thing trying to live your faith, I assume, on your own, but maybe for a young person, and I'll mention this later on to the young girls when I was speaking with them, it must be a great encouragement for them to have people like themselves who are also going to reconciliation, also staying up half the night for Eucharistic adoration or singing the hats out.
Yeah. Well, that's how it works. Isolation is one thing that really will kill the faith fairly quickly. If you feel you're the only one practicing, or if one family feels the only family practicing, that's very, very difficult to maintain then. Whereas when they look around and they see these normal young people with their piercings and a couple of tattoos and the fashionable clothes and the ripped jeans, and there they are, singing Jesus songs. And go, this is actually normal. You can live like this. There are other people like me out there. And not only that, but some of the people who you might know or go to Youth2000, they're wonderful examples of a joyful faith. And you go, not only is this normal, I want to be like them. I want a faith like them. Or you hear some of the young people give their testimonies as well. That's another part of the weekend where they'll stand up and say how the Lord has touched their lives. And often you'll relate to those kind of stories. Like, I was born and raised in a Catholic family. Parents went. When I hit my teens, I started kind of struggling with the whole Mass thing. Then I decided, look, once I hit 17, you can't force me to go anymore. I'm a better person if I sleep in on a Sunday. Then someone came along, a young person invited me to a retreat, or I went to Medjugorje or something like that, and I came back and I discovered something very different. Then the usual tension between my newly discovered faith and ordinary life, which is going to win. So I used to go out and do all these things, had my conversion experience, and then some of the friends didn't understand why I wasn't going out, why I wasn't drinking, why I wasn't doing the usual things. Then I discovered more friends, so you hear these beautiful testimonies that everyone can relate to.
We might just hear some about those. So now coming to some of the members of Youth2000, and of course, what else would I start off with but herself, Mariah Culloty, who's been with me a number of times now, for the last few years now, to promote Youth2000 and tell me about her experiences and so on and so forth. Welcome back again.
Thanks, John. Thank you so much for having me again.
You're welcome. I know you kind of told us your story before in terms of how you got involved with Youth2000. We might share it again. How did you get involved with Youth2000?
I will, of course. I had just finished my junior cert, and like that, I was in the state where, okay, why do I I was never made to go to mass, thankfully. You just went, it was part of the tradition at home. But I knew I was lacking something. I had my group of friends. I wasn't in want of anything, but I didn't feel happy. Like I knew there was something inside missing. So yourself, actually, John, my parents at home were listening to the station and heard you advertised it very quickly.
Youth2000.
And next thing, all I remember was I was sitting on the bus on my own. Off I was going. There was no staffing. And the minute I got there, we were not even before I had registered. There was a group from Mitchellstown behind me. And to this day, I'm still great friends with all of them, including Aine that you'll speak to later, and Fr Patrick himself. They've really helped me the last 4 to 5 years.
And I suppose, again, just as Fr Patrick said, the encouragement you must have got again by meeting people like Aine, that you can probably share with, whereas speaking with other people, you mightn't be able to share as deeply with, maybe the way you wanted to share with.
Exactly, it was very free to speak about your faith, to ask the questions that you feel you can't ask in your own community because they're like, oh, you should know that already, or why are you asking that kind of question? Just go to mass and say your prayers and leave. Do you know that kind of way? So you're sitting above with like 1,200 people, and you can turn to someone you don't know and ask them a real like challenging question about faith, and they'll have an answer for you, or they'll say, oh, I was thinking the very same thing. Which is the atmosphere you want when you are travelling on a journey of faith.
Tell me, Father Patrick just mentioned a word there just a few minutes ago, the word hope. Would you get an awful lot of hope from being involved with Youth2000 in terms of being a member of the church, as opposed to maybe some people who maybe lost that little bit of hope because they don't understand? You can still do your fingernails up and still be a member of Youth2000.
Oh, exactly. Like you said, you can have piercings, you can have tattoos, you can go with ripped jeans, you can go with tank tops, you can go with fake nails on, you can go with makeup. It's normal people. We are normal people. And that's the stigma that young people feel sometimes, that you say, oh, you're in Youth2000, and then people look it up. But you need to go to experience the joy. That's, I think, what's missing in a lot of rural communities, is the joy.
And I'm sure you met an awful lot of young people, maybe in college, those who work or whatever, who are kind of giving up on mass and giving up on the church and giving up on the faith.
Yes.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're giving up?
The sense of community isn't as big anymore in the faith and church community. Like, you go to a GA match and there might be 800 or 900 people there for a Sunday. Why can't those 800 or 900 people be at mass if we brought the GA pitch into the church? Would that work? Do you know? The sense of community, the sense of belonging, I think, is what's missing.
Because if you're at Youth2000, especially with some of these festivals,
yes,
I mean, 1,200 people being in the one place for the weekend, again, must encourage everybody in terms of their faith.
You do.
But somehow, that faith has got to be brought back to our communities.
It's very challenging.
It's very challenging.
Yeah, I've been going to Youth2000 for 4 years, and only this year I organise a youth mass for my community, for my parish.
Isn't that a great start?
Yeah, after 4 years of going. It takes a while. But you get it.
I'd say Father Patrick will probably tell you many, many stories of that, where Father Patrick's been trying, and we just got to keep on going.
Yeah. So,
in terms of somebody listening to the programme there this morning, and they were thinking, this Youth2000 people, I might become involved or I mightn't become involved. What would you think? What would you say to them?
I'd say I went on my own 4 years ago, and I left with friends for a lifetime.
Okay.
If you're looking for someone that can help you along your faith journey, if you feel like, okay, I want to learn more, it's the place to go. But you have to take the step. But you should really try it. You should go experience it.
Thanks, Mariah. Niamh O'Donnell, you're local. You're from Abbeyfield, aren't you?
Yes, I'm from Abbeyfield.
And I think did you have a sister involved with Youth2000 too, one stage?
I had, at one stage.
Okay.
She was going to Youth2000, yeah.
And so yourself, you're involved with Youth2000 for a little while,
I
are
am,
you?
yeah. It all started off really last year when I went to Medjugorje with Mariah and Aine and Fr Patrick here, and a group of other young people, and it was their own lovely Mariah that told me about the Youth2000 festival in Roscrea, and she just gave me the flyer and said, "Are you coming?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And what difference do you think that's made to your own life now that you've become involved a bit more with Youth2000, your faith journey and all that?
My faith journey has definitely increased and definitely really kind of solidified in a way. It really strengthens it. Just to go there and see other young people your own age into that faith is really reassuring. And it's just a lovely weekend, really, just to spend time with the Lord.
Do you get involved with the local group, or is there a group you can keep in touch with every now and again?
Well, I do often keep in touch with the Middletown group.
Okay, lovely.
And Mariah and Aine are not too far from me. So.
But I'm sure email and texting and all that is very important. And again, if there was a young person out there now, maybe one of your friends who was listening to this, what would you think they should take away from our chat now today in terms of Youth2000 and the involvement with young people? And what would you say? Stay with it. Stay with the group if possible. Stay with Youth2000.
Oh, definitely, yeah, because it's very rewarding, I suppose, if you really kind of try to stay with a prayer group. Yeah.
Lovely. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot for that. So now, is it Anya Keane? Is it?
Yeah.
From Mitchelstown.
Yeah.
I've seen you before. Were you here at the Faith Camp here last year?
I was.
So have you been involved with Youth2000 for a bit?
This year going to Roscrea will be my third time going. First time I was 17 and I absolutely loved it. I heard about it. It was in my prayer meeting, and I did the Mitchelstown Faith Camp there 2 years ago as well. And I was watching the video of young people talking about the Roscrea festival.
Okay.
And I was like, I felt like I was being called to go and try it.
Lovely.
And even though like a retreat didn't really sound much to me, but I said I need to kind of like experience it. And when I went, like I just saw everyone so happy, joyful, jumping around, so excited, and I was like, I want what they have.
Lovely.
And I have like such amazing friends. I've been to Medjugorje. I went again this year for the third time.
Lovely.
And yeah, like they're not even friends, they're more family now, really.
Yeah. Did you say that you were involved with a prayer group before you started Youth2000?
Yeah, I started the prayer group in April 2015.
You started a prayer group?
Oh, I didn't start. No, sorry, I didn't start. I started going to a prayer group, sorry. And
how was that? I mean, how did you decide to go and join a prayer group? Not too many 17-year-olds would...
It was actually another friend of mine from town, and she was telling me about it, and I just kind of like, I just felt like I need to go and see what it's all about, because I was doing the Pope John Paul Award, and that's how we kind of all fell in place, and I was with the Net Ministries doing the youth group. I just really enjoyed it, and then I just went to the prayer group anyway to see what it was about, and not going to lie, first few weeks I was kind of looking around and I was like, okay, there's people kneeling down, eyes closed, looking at the Blessed Sacrament, and I was just still looking around saying, why am I here?
That's normal.
But then one day when I was at the prayer meeting, and then I just kind of like, I just closed my eyes and I just spoke to Jesus. I could feel him talking to me, and I was like, this is for me. Like, I can't imagine my life without Youth2000. It's amazing. And definitely any 16-year-olds out there, just or 17 up to 35, just definitely go. They have to experience.
There aren't too many people of your own age, or even older than your own age, would say what you've just said to me in terms of being in front of the Blessed Sacrament and speaking with Jesus. For some reason, people are afraid to say, I was talking with Jesus. But it's okay to talk to Jesus, isn't it? And I'm sure maybe that's what you guys get from Youth2000. Because you're sharing within a group, and because you get in spiritual direction, you feel so confident to be able to, going back to what Father said in terms of Mass and so on and so forth, people may be getting bored and not getting much out of it, but there was you prepared at least to wait a little bit, and there you were in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and next thing, off you went.
Went for it.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, definitely.
And you then get involved with Net Ministries. I know I spoke with them once or twice and a few other groups. And that's the other great thing I'd say about getting young people getting involved with groups, or anybody getting involved with groups. You make so many contacts. And you've made a contacts all over the place. Yeah. So how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 19.
19. So you've been in 2 years, 3 years?
Yes, going my third time now in Roscrea.
And have you got a Youth2000 group within Mitchelltown where you're based? So have you got your own little Youth2000 weekly meeting?
Oh, yeah, we have one every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday?
Evening. Yeah.
And tell me what happens with that. What happens there?
So we all gather together, and we just say the rosary, and we sing songs, and then we have gospel sharings, and we all pick a line that stood out to us, and if we want, we can share why we picked that line, and then when that's over, then we just like sing like action songs and stuff like that, and then we have a tea and chat after then.
And then, of course, you then get involved, no doubt, with Youth2000 festivals, which might be a Christmas or...
Yeah, I've been to Newbridge, and I was at the Munster retreats as well.
What stands out for you there with those meetings, those festivals? What's the thing that you take away from that in terms of being there for the weekend?
It would be the reconciliation, the confession, and then it's amazing because you're going in, you're telling Jesus you're sorry, and then the thought of him forgiving you, and then you're just sitting there and like beside the Blessed Sacrament then, and then there's like nice kind of music at the background playing, and then you could get really emotional, but that's not bad, that's good, because you're like you're so happy after it then, and then actually a few hours later, then we have a concert, like praising and worshiping Jesus. Beautiful. And it's just
fantastic.
It's brilliant.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
I've asked the other two girls, I'll ask yourself, why do you think young people don't get involved so much with their faith now these days in terms of church attendance? And
I like from like experience in school and stuff, they think religion is dead, and like it's not, because if they get to Youth2000, if the 16 to 35-year-olds go to Youth2000, they know religion isn't dead. Because when I went there, I know I wasn't the only one in the faith.
How do we get people to go to Youth2000, get involved with Youth2000?
Well, if you see any flyers with Youth2000, I'd just go. Because like what Fr Patrick was saying, free bus, free accommodation, free food. It's donation only.
Very good. Maybe there's some young person, so they're listening to the programme this morning, and liked maybe what they heard from your good self in terms of your experience, your faith journey. What would you say to them in terms of becoming more involved with their own faith?
Well, like if you want to, like if there's a prayer meeting, try it out. If you want to be courageous and start up your own one, just get like 3 people, even, because like even like Jesus said, like he'll be there.
Lovely.
Beyond those 3 people.
Lovely. And
then just kind of like, just keep like praying about it, and praying is just the key. And like if you're struggling, it's fine. We all struggle with the prayers and stuff. And like what Mariah and Niamh and everything and Fr Patrick was saying, like we have friends in faith. We can count on each other to help. Yeah. And like, you're not alone. Great. I think that's very encouraging. Thank you so much for that, Anya. Thanks.
Now we come to very close again to around this area again, not too far from me, at Aine. Grace Leahy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. You're involved with Youth2000, what, for long?
No, I went to my first retreat last October.
Okay.
With the people from this camp encouraging me, it was a slight encouragement, but it was an encouragement that I really needed at the time, because I was kind of, I suppose, lacking that bit of hope myself. But when I took that first step, it reassured me that there is hope, and there is so much love in if you just believe in your prayers, even, you know.
But you probably needed somebody, as you said yourself, somebody of maybe your own age group to encourage you again, and somebody you could feel confident with in terms of chatting to, maybe becoming involved with. Yeah,
I suppose I did, because I had 2 friends now from school, and they came with me, and it was both our first, or the 3 of us, it was our first time going together, but we knew then we had each other, and we had made some friends from this camp who were around the same age as us, who were like 17, 18, and so we knew then that if we did need anything or had any questions or queries, like, we could just approach them or ask them. You know, it was a beautiful experience.
And you went to the festival, did you say at Christmas?
No, unfortunately I couldn't go Christmas, but I went to the Munster retreat then in Keane.
And how did you find that?
I thought it was really beautiful, actually, and the healing service is the most spectacular experience that you could really experience. I suppose it's just an overwhelming power of love, you know, that you get, that you don't expect it, but you really feel it when you know that you're present by the Eucharist, and you know, you're there.
And so for the whole weekend, I mean, it starts off with, what actually happened when you go there on Friday night?
Well, first we register in that and but then you go to Mass, and actually Father Patrick said the first Mass there, and it was really lovely. You know, the Masses are all things that the youth can relate to.
Great.
So, like, you know, if there's any, we'll say, like, you know, you'd have like the struggles of the faith in the youth, and I suppose they kind of related back to that, and you know, how you got involved and why, you know. So.
And you met so many friends now since you've.
Oh, I've made so many friends through it, like Aine, Mariah, and even, we'll say, all the gang at Holy Family Mission with Father Patrick. You know, there's so many friends there, and I suppose your faith friends are probably the best friends you'll ever make, because you know they're true friends.
Oh, beautiful. Father Patrick, I tell you, that was wonderful just to listen to those young people relating their stories and their experience.
They're inspirational.
It's very inspirational to me. I'm sure it must be very inspirational to you as a priest.
Oh, it is. One of the most special events, it's usually somewhat informal, at the end when they're doing the thank yous. Lana Wilson, the national director, she stands up and she thanks the different speakers, and she thanks the priests for coming. And when she thanks the priests, invariably people will give the priest a standing ovation. Now, for priests, whether they've been working for years in a parish or they're freshly ordained, straight out of seminary, you see 1,000 young people standing up applauding your priesthood, not because you're something special, but your priesthood. They love you because you're a priest, because you offer them the things that they long for. You bring them the Lord, or you bring them healing in confession. That's moving. It's so powerful to see that as a priest.
It must be. So. There was something there that I just heard at the end, just before we finish off. Grace mentioned it. That she found with the experience there of being at one of the meetings there, that the people were able to relate, or that the priests were able to relate to the people. And I'm just trying to connect that back again to our parishes sometimes, and not having a go at parish and so on and so forth. But there seems to be something to me that seems to be coming out here. That's that Youth2000, the spiritual direction, or whatever they're getting from Youth2000, is relating to their struggles and their experiences that they mightn't be getting necessarily in their own parishes, for whatever reason, and I'm not having to go at parishes. All the more reason for people maybe to get involved with Youth2000. But what I think happens sometimes is, for some reason, Youth2000 doesn't get a big mention out there sometimes. Okay, I hear about it, and I finance somebody and get them on the programme and so on, but it doesn't get for some reason, a big press out there. Would you agree with that, like?
I would.
And how can we go do something about that? Well, we have to try and do something about that, because what these people are relating to myself and yourself and to their colleagues this morning here is something that we all want to hear nearly all the time. And they're getting that all the time, because they're saying that now they've met a personal Jesus, and now they're able to speak with Jesus. And that's okay. And it's great. And we don't hear that too often.
No, I think actually some people can find that intimidating. Like, we have a generation or more, maybe 2 generations of people who haven't been very well catechized. Like my own generation, for example, our faith formation would have stopped after confirmation. And in secondary schools, in order to keep things safe, if you will, and in order to avoid difficult topics, we keep it all very politically correct. So we talk about the environment, and we talk about recycling, we talk about maybe social justice issues, and that's all fine, but you cannot reduce the Catholic faith to social justice issues. If you do, what invariably happens then is that young people think, well, the faith is for children. Prayers are for children, and then when they have proper teenage questions, why should I go to Mass? Why should I believe sacred scripture? Why should I believe the church? It's made up of flawed human beings like every other institution. Why should I take any more credence or place any more credence in it than any other institution? They've got these good questions. But who's going to answer them? Because invariably they will not be answered in secondary school. So you end up with this kind of faith that's almost embarrassing. It's like it's made up of nursery rhymes. Now, as a teenager, or I'm in my 20s, all these little prayers of angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God, it just sounds kind of ridiculous. So when are they going to get an adult understanding of their faith? When we work in Youth2000, something we would experience quite a lot is the brokenness of young people. So they're hungry, they're hurt, and they come here, and we're not telling them that you're grand, like we're all going to heaven anyway, because they know that things aren't that simple out in the world. The reality of the fact is that they've seen people who've done very hurtful things. So they're all going to heaven as well, is it? I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous if we take the backbone out of our faith. Our faith doesn't stand for anything. Why would I stand for it? But like Jesus himself, I mean, he challenged people. He helped, consoled, he healed, he told the truth. And the truth isn't always what we want to hear. Some people find Youth2000 a small bit intimidating, because there they are praying in front of Jesus when maybe I don't pray in front of Jesus. So you've got these young people talking about their personal faith, and I'm maybe a priest or a pastor worker or whatever, and I don't have a personal faith, So people can find it a bit intimidating, but there's nothing intimidating about it. Like what's the goal of the church? To introduce people to the Lord. And the Lord does the work. So we put the Lord at the centre, and Our Lady guides us there, and the sacred scripture will guide us to Him, and the church guides us to Him, and all of the above guide us to heaven.
One thing that I asked the girls, where would they see the church in 20 years' time, so on and so forth. And really what I was thinking about was, and I've just witnessed it now, I've just witnessed them witnesses to their own faith. They must have a place in the church 20 years from now. These people, or the likes of these people here, who can come out and witness and relate to people's struggles and so on and so forth. Would you think there is a place for the laity, maybe, later on in our church, 20 years' time, more than what it is now at the moment?
Yes. It's a big question, and I'm not sure if you get me started on this one, I will be here all day. But I'll throw out a few ideas. Okay, I think the church of the future will be smaller. But that's not a problem per se, as long as the church of the future is more faithful. So what's important here is fidelity, quality over quantity. There's no point having churches full of people who don't believe what the church believes and will compromise the church in every election or every problem that comes up. A church full of people who don't believe in the Eucharist, I mean, what's the point of it? So we shouldn't be afraid to try and raise the bar. And this is almost like one of the capital sins in the church at the moment, to try and raise the bar, to try and encourage people to conversion or a deeper prayer life. So God bless us, sure, I go to Mass every Sunday, what more do you want? Well, does the Lord say going to Mass on a Sunday is enough? What does He want of you? I mean, we've ever asked Him? To actually, that our faith is alive and life-giving, and our faith should be in constant growth. Not that we reach the spiritual plateau of Sunday Mass attendance and good to go. That's not enough. And if you apply that to any other institution or organisation, it's the same thing. Our faith should be alive and dynamic and growing. We also need good leadership. So we need priests and bishops who will lead and who will take the lead and take the hits for love of their people in order to guide them to the Lord. As regards a role for lay people, of course. I mean, probably traditionally in Ireland, the role of the laity wasn't seen as necessary. In a way, I guess, things were quite automatic for us. As an Irish person, it was pretty much taken for granted you were Catholic. Our politicians were Catholic, our schools were Catholic, everything was Catholic. So, as such, the role of the laity was kind of considered maybe a bit redundant, you know, because it was all taken for granted. Whereas now we see quite clearly something which we always should have seen. I mean, who's going to bring the faith into schools? Who's going to bring the faith into politics? Who's going to bring the faith into the home? Who's going to bring the faith into the workplace? That's all lay people.
That's it.
You know,
that's it.
And almost exclusively lay people, because they outnumber us 10,000 to 1, maybe. So, I mean, the role of the laity in the church is absolutely huge, but not to be confused with the role of the laity on the sanctuary. Because this is, I think, what we see getting a small bit confused in parishes, that I think the role of the laity in the church means the role of the laity should be increased up on the sanctuary. But to be honest, that one priests have covered. We've kind of got that one under control. It's everything else that needs lay involvement. Catechists, teachers, politicians, engineers, you know, all of that is the role of politicians. That's all the role of the laity, and there's an amount to be done there. As I say, it's just a small bit narrow-minded to say, you know, lay people are involved because now we have Eucharistic ministers or something like that. There's a lot more to do than that, a lot more important stuff to do than that. You know, we have a faith that needs building up.
Fair dues to you. Thank you so much for that. So we got a youth festival, Youth2000, starting the 17th to the 20th of August, and I think the theme is "Come Closer." Hear my word. Mariah, what are you expecting this year? Different from last year, or the same again? Or more enthusiasm for the Lord again?
I think every year you kind of always have something that you're looking forward to. I think this year. Definitely it's meeting up with my faith friends, as Grace called them, and good. Being in that area, because we'll say when you are busy for the year, you have college and you know you're doing that, and then you have that moment where, oh yes, I have this now coming up, and that's 4 days of just being myself, 100% myself, with people that understand who I am, and you leave then and you're like, oh, that was, you know, that's your summer, that's your stamp on my summer. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Are you all going, by the way? Are you all going to this one this year? Are you going to?
Yeah.
From Aine and Mitchelstown as well? Very good. And Father, you're going, of course, as well?
I'll be giving one of the talks, yeah.
I'd say you will. Listen, thank you so much for your time this morning. I'm sure there's people out there, and not so young people out there, will be very enthused with your witness of faith. We all need that, and thanks a lot for that, and keep it up. Father, before we finish, you might finish up maybe with a prayer, please, as we finish the programme. Thanks.
So I just pray the Our Father together. We can offer this for all of the youth of Ireland. There are thousands of young people absolutely starving to meet the Lord and to feel His healing power in their lives. So we pray this Our Father for them, and that through whatever means they may discover His love. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Father Patrick, girls, thanks a lot for joining me this morning. God bless you, and enjoy Roscrea.
Thanks, John.
Bye-bye now.
Sacred Space,